One and go.
When I was age 14, my grandfather took me first time in my life to a funeral and a cremation. Now imagine, एक 14 साल का लड़का first time एक dead body देखने जा रहा है. Right? अब उसका background क्या है? What is the background? He's seen Hindi movies, he's seen teleserials, and all these things in his life where he has seen death as something scary, tragic. Yeah? What do you see in a Hindi movie? And that thing is playing in your mind continuously. And then I entered the funeral site. There was a dead body here lying here, covered in white cloth. Family are mourning. And I was scared to go there. And when I peep in, what do I see? I see an empty shell lying there, not moving, not responding, but everybody else is responding to it. And then I was just coming out of that reality when I reached the cremation site. And then the dead body is shoved into the electrical furnace, it catches fire, and the lid shut down. And that's how my obsession with death started. I went to at least 4 to 5 funerals like that. And then from a spectator, I became an observer. I used to go to a funeral, see a wonderful dead body lying there. The family is mourning on it, somebody is garlanding it. And then I saw the duality of human drama unfolding in front of me. On the other side, there were these relatives in white clothing, sitting there, talking business. And there were matchmaking happening. Boss, मेरे नजर में एक लड़की है, आपके लड़के के लिए चलेगी? And the surprising thing is, most of the weddings are finalized in a funeral. You know that? That's the best place. All together, nobody disturbs you. And that's how my obsession with death continued. That whole thing used to play in my mind. But then one fine day, the reality hit me. A thought came in my mind. I attended so many funerals. What if the same death knocked at my doorstep? The dead body lying there can be either of my family or worse, it can be even me. That's where that thing haunted me every day. The fear captured me. Till one day I walked into my first year of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, my anatomy room where you do the dissection of dead bodies. And the first sign which was there on the board hit me. And it said, "Here the dead teach the living." Wow, the dead teaching the living. Isn't it amazing? Again, their obsessions continued. And now we go ahead in time, my dear friends. I'll tell you the real reason, the real incident which made me change my 20 years of dental surgery to full-time hypnotherapy. It was in my post-graduation that I had to do my first case of hypnotherapy. And that case was none other than my receptionist. That time she was age 38. Let me give you a brief history about her. She was the third daughter of them, coming after a son who had died at the age of 10. So she was an unwanted child, a neglected child, and completely unloved. Now imagine a person who is in that state of mind. That person will seek love outside. And that's what she did. And she got love. She got a wonderful boyfriend when she was 20. But destiny had to intervene. She was one unfortunate girl who had to see her boyfriend die in a road accident right in front of her eyes. That shook her completely, devastated her. She was just coming out of the shock and she went into a coping mechanism. You all have coping mechanisms, isn't it? So what she did, she adopted the younger sister of the boyfriend. And she had only one common friend between them. So only two persons in her life now, the daughter and the common friend. Now we come ahead in time. She got the daughter married. She sponsored all her studies, got the daughter married in July 2016. And she was working at my place in December 2016 when I was doing my post-graduation. One fine day, she comes to my cabin and she's shattered, she's very anxious, agitated. I said, what the hell happened? I made her sit. She couldn't talk, the tears were rolling down her cheeks. I said, what happened? They said, my daughter was traveling to Pandharpur with her husband and they died in the road accident. Can you imagine the trauma on that lady's mind? And she was just, I had no words to give her. I just mumbled something to her to make her feel good. And then within 15 days, the common friend died in his sleep. So 2 deaths happening just in a matter of 15 days, 2 only people which mattered to her are no more. She felt alone, she felt lonely. That's where I offered her my hypnotherapy. Well, after doing 1 or 2 sessions, I decided to go for my first regression with her. I did that session, she was feeling good about it, but just 2-3 days later, there was Mahashivratri coming in. So I just suggested to her that why don't you do one thing, there is a yogic technique that you sit with your spine erect during the whole night. You get a lot of benefits with that. She agreed to do that. And that very night, I did the puja, and the next morning she comes to me. Again, not agitated, yes agitated, but positively. I said, I want to share something with you. I said, what happened? He said, as I was sitting, by 5:30 in the morning, I was feeling that I should just meditate the way you taught me. So I started doing that. I experienced an energy field around me, which was too captivating. And then I heard the voice of my daughter. The daughter was from a Maharashtrian family. She addressed her as I. And she conversed with her, telling her and assuring her, Mom, I am in a good place, I am in a happy place. Don't worry about it. This happened, and within just few days again, she had one more experience where she was sitting in her home alone. She started feeling suffocation. So we started practicing my breathing exercises. And again, she felt the same experience. And this time, not only the daughter came, the friend came and talked to her in her consciousness. Yes, my dear friends, it's hard to believe. Even I didn't believe that. But what mattered to me as a therapist, she was out of the trauma completely. She was living a life completely. She was out of the trauma. She was feeling relaxed. And that's what motivated me to explore the concept of death further. And I did come across a beautiful case, one of the only case recorded in medical history, where a person experiences death, comes back alive to tell the tale. Yes, my dear friends, I'm talking about none other than Miss Anita Moorjani, a lady of Indian origin, based in Hong Kong. In the year 2002, she was diagnosed with a medical cancer, the first form of cancer known as the Hodgkin's lymphoma, that to stage 4. She's tried all alternative therapies for 4 years, nothing worked. And last, she said, let's go for medical treatment. So as she went to the hospital with her husband, she was 1/3 away. So said, let's start chemotherapy, radiation. And within 2 weeks, she went into coma. And now, my dear friends, let's hear it from her.
I could hear and see and feel everything that was happening. I could feel everything the doctors were doing. They were poking needles into me and putting in IV tubes and things like that. And my husband was by my bedside holding my hand. I could, not only could I hear what they were saying, it was like I could feel what they were feeling. Like I was completely empathic to what they were feeling. And I could see and hear things that were beyond the room that my physical body was in. And I realized that I could even see my physical body. It was like I felt that I had become separate from my body. And it felt incredible. It felt just absolutely amazing. It was, for me, it was like the first time in years that I felt so amazing and so pain-free. The pain was gone, and I felt light. And I felt like I was really like free and expanded. And I also felt something which I can only describe as a feeling of unconditional love. And I know the word love has been overused, but it's the only word I can think of to describe what I was feeling, because it was like a euphoric kind of feeling. Like I felt like I suddenly realized that I don't have to do anything to prove myself. I don't have to do anything to feel that I deserve to be loved. I was loved just because I existed. And I don't remember ever feeling that way ever before in my life. And now I was no longer attached to my body.
So my dear friends, this is what we call as near-death experience. And that made me accept the truth. There are only two constants in our life, birth and death. Life happens in between. We are all proud of our achievements, our awards, our titles, our accumulations. But in the end, what really matters, my dear friend, is this is what remains. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And then, what really touched me is my exploration into the regrets what people have at the end of their lives. What we learn in how to live a life. But I'll share something what we are not supposed to do. You talked on regrets. I'm going to take it further. Right? The most common regrets people have at the end of their life. And the best part is, when you are in the final stages, your life comes as a reel in front of you with all the summary and the fine points being highlighted. You can't miss that. And the first regret is, only if I had lived a life I wanted to live and not what I was expected to live. We all live a life which our parents want us to, our spouse wants us to, our kids want us to. But when are we going to live a life which we want to live? I'm not saying that you don't work hard, but make sure that your work is in alignment in what you love to do. You can definitely do that. I found mine. Why can't you find yours? It's as simple as that. The another regret is, only if I had expressed my feelings openly. My dear friends, we take our friendships, our relationships for granted. And then, what we do? We miss out on expressing our emotions to our loved ones. So I want to promise from each and every one of you, today evening, as you go home, whether it's your parents, it's your kids, it's your spouses, go and hug them. Whisper in their ear, I love you. However weird it may sound, my dear friends, the time will come when they are no more and you will regret that day when you are not alive. And finally, last but not the least, is none of them regretted, oh, I lived a life which was full of happiness. The regret was, only if I had been more happy. So start living a life. Be happy in every moment. Enjoy it to every moment. Because when death strikes at the door, you should not face it with regret. You say, come my dear friend, let's go together and chill out. Get busy living or get busy dying. This is one of the most favorite dialogues of Shawshank Redemption, which I love to quote. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.